Good morning and good afternoon. I'm checking my audio levels, okay. And welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Friday, so it's our Friday news dump. We have to cover all the stories that have gone on this week before the weekend happens, and then new stories are coming. Thank you, Traveler, for bagging an elixir and getting that gold medal here. Don't forget, if you are not already, to subscribe to the YouTube, turn on those notifications, and of course, get ready for some headlines. Today on Before Coffee, summer solstice welcomed by thousands at Stonehenge, and the AfD and some other parties are striving to form a new right-wing group in the EU Parliament.
And a 3,300-year-old ship is found in north of Israel.
A London NHS hospital's data was allegedly published online.
And we remember Willie Mays as they played a game in his honor yesterday, and actor Donald Sutherland has died.
Why are Belfast rappers kneecap challenging UK government?
Those stories and more, which is National Take Your Dog to Work Day. June 21st, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Oh, right. Sad news about some long past sports and actor long careers. I think Sutherland was 88 even. But instead of talking about that, for me, I'm going to be talking about the summer solstice, which was yesterday. And a lot of people went to Stonehenge, which famously is perfectly lined up with the sun for the solstice, so that the sun goes through the monument. This is by Jody Harrison on the Herald Scotland. Thousands of people have greeted the sun with cheers as it rolls over Stonehenge for the summer solstice, just days after the ancient monument was sprayed with orange paint. Those who observed this spectacle at the Neolithic structure in Wiltshire encountered a chilly morning accompanied by misty fields as the sun glinted over the horizon at 4:52 a.m. on Friday. The display follows the heritage site have been targeted by Just Stop Oil protesters earlier this week. Wiltshire police said a man in his 70s and a woman in her 20s had been bailed after being arrested on suspicion of criminal damaging an ancient monument and deterring a person from engaging in lawful activity. Many of the attendees at the event expressed frustration and disapproval at the protest. You should express your frustrations at the currently melting earth, I think, instead of, oh no, my monument has paint that will wash off when it next rains. Think about how people are making money off of the planet dying. Sally Ann Spence, an archaeology enthusiast who dressed as a shaman dug up from the Mesolithic period, which predates Stonehenge, said the solstice is incredibly important. I understand their calls, I respect their calls, I just wish they hadn't done that on Stonehenge, she said. I think to put anything on the stones is slightly misguided. There are very rare lichens on the stone. It's a World Heritage Site. She continued, being here for the solstice and representing a shaman, admittedly from a different period of time, is a brilliant experience. It's exciting. It's very busy at the moment. I'm loving it because it's using a chance to talk to people about actual archaeology. Laura Debane, who was attending the solstice at Stonehenge for the 5th time, said Just Stop Oil spraying the monument was awful. If you want to make a protest, go somewhere it's going to mean something. Well, it sounds like it's meaning a lot, because everyone's talking about it. Not in a historical place like this, because there's no oil here. It's sacred ground. Why, whenever there's a protest, how come the people who are criticizing the protest don't understand why it was done? Right? It's a famous monument. Hence, goal success. Mission succeeded. Good, we did it. Like, why did they do it on a famous monument? Look at the adjective you just used there, guys. Famous monument. Hello, that's why they did it there. Miss Debane said she was glad the protest did not ruin the event and people were still able to come out and enjoy it. Stonehenge is a monument built on the alignment of the midsummer sunrise and the midwinter sunset. On the summer solstice, the sun rises behind this heel stone, the ancient entrance to the stone circle, and rays of sunshine are channeled into the center of the monument. It is believed solstices have been celebrated at Stonehenge for thousands of years. Summer solstice takes place at least one place as one of the Earth's poles has its maximum tilt towards the sun, and the sun reaches its highest position in the sky, ensuring the longest period of daylight for the year. And in more UK news, on the negative side, this is from Geneva Abdul on The Guardian. Data from a ransomware attack has allegedly been published online weeks after the attack halted operations and tests in London hospitals, NHS England has said. A Russian group carried out the cyber attack in Synopsis, a private pathology firm that analyzes blood tests for Guy's and St. Thomas's NHS Foundation Trust, GSTT, and King's College Trust on the 3rd of June, forcing hospitals in the capital to cancel almost 1,600 operations and outpatient appointments. NHS England said on Friday, which is today, June 21st, it had been made aware that the cyber criminal group published data last night, which they are claiming belongs to the Synovis and was stolen as part of this attack. We know how worrying this development may be for many people. We are taking it very seriously. In the attack, hackers from the Russian-based ransomware criminal group Killin infiltrated Synovis's IT system and locked the computer system by encrypting its files to extort a payment for restoring access. The trusts have contracts with Synovis totaling just under £1 billion for services that are vital to smooth running of the NHS. Kilkin has published 104 files, with each containing 3.7 gigabytes of data, on a dedicated site on the dark web, where it publishes information stolen in attacks. The post is topped with an image of Synovis' logo, a description of the company, and a link to its website. The Guardian could not confirm the contents, but BBC reported on Friday, today, June 21st, that the data included patients' names, dates of birth, NHS numbers, and description of blood tests, although it's not known if the test results have been leaked as well. NHS England said an analysis of the data was underway involving the National Cybersecurity Centre and other partners to confirm whether data was taken from Synovis' systems and what information it contained. It remains unclear whether Kilkin had stolen NHS patient data alongside disabling Synovis' systems. Such postings are usually made as blackmail negotiation tactics, letting it be known that data has been stolen in a bid to force a ransom payment that will trigger return of the data and an unlocking of the victim's IT systems. Don Smith, vice president of threat research at SecureWorks, a cybersecurity firm, said the attack had highlighted the vulnerability of the health sector because its troves of data make it a prime target. The Kilkin attack followed a hack on the NHS Dumfries and Galloway Health Board where patient data was stolen. He said, "It follows closely in the wake of attacks on the NHS and Dumfries and Galloway and underlies that this sector, which is incredibly rich in data, must be protected." When the hack began, several hospitals run by 2 NHS trusts experienced serious disruptions to their services, including cancelling or moving elective operations. 2 major acute hospital trusts in London postponed 832 surgical procedures, including a cancer surgery and an organ transplant, among others, between the 3rd of June and the 9th of June. That's a lot of surgeries that have been cancelled. The disruption affected including Guy's, St. Thomas, and King's College, as well as the Evelina Children's Hospital, Royal Brompton, the Harefield Specialist Heart and Lung Hospitals, and Princess Royal Hospital in Orpington. So there's a huge hacking, hacking release. The Russians are going after people in the UK and ransoming their information. Though they haven't actually asked for ransom, which is the odd part, they haven't asked for any money. They've just dumped the data on the dark web. More information will probably be following shortly in the coming weeks.
More hacks to come.
Yeah.
I thought on the Stonehenge thing, I thought it was a celebration of winter solstice, not summer solstice. The original.
It's all the solstices because they put 2 stones on both. Yeah.
Of course, we're always guessing. Nobody's around to tell us. Stonehenge is just the one we observe the most. There's plenty of those around England.
There's temples in Mexico and ancient Incan structures. A lot of places
Stonehenge,
celebrate the solstices.
It's all the pub.
Yeah.
All right. And more antiquity news. It's from the timesofisrael.com. It says by TOI staff, or TOI staff, so there's no writer's name. Those persons. TOI staff, what a name. In a groundbreaking archaeological discovery, the Israeli Antiquities Authority announced Thursday that a natural gas company standard survey in the eastern Mediterranean flora had uncovered the most ancient ship ever found in the deep seas. Quite a discovery. Discovery of the remains of the ship from the 13th or 14th century BCE proves that late Bronze Age mariners could navigate the seas without a line of sight to the shore, contrary to what was previously believed, the IAA said. The approximately 3,300-year-old ship with a cargo of hundreds of intact amphorae was found at 90 kilometers off the North Israel coast at a depth of 1.8 kilometers. Only 2 other shipwrecks with a cargo are known from the late Bronze Age in the Mediterranean Sea, both found off the Turkish coast. Yet both of those shipwrecks were found relatively close to the shore, said Jacob Sharvit, head of the IAA Marine Unit. There is a tremendous potential here for research. A newly discovered ship is preserved at such a great depth that time is frozen since the moment of disaster. Its body and contents have not been disturbed by human hand, nor affected by waves and currents, which do impact shipwrecks in shallower waters. The exciting recent find began when a submersible robot operated by Energean, a natural gas exploration and production company operating several offshore fields, spotted what seemed to be a large pile of jugs heaped on the seafloor. We are in ongoing contact with the Israeli Antiquities Authority, and when we send them images, it turned out to be a sensational discovery. Far beyond anything we could imagine, said Karnit Bahartan, environmental lead at Energean, that's the name. Shipwrecks found near the Turkish coast were accessible using normal dive equipment. However, the depth of this shipwreck necessitated Energean and the IAA to team up to conduct a more technically advanced investigative operation. Using the Energean Starship equipped to conduct deep sea work, technicians used this specially built tool designed to extract artifacts with minimal risk of damage to the entire assemblage. During the operation, the team confirmed that the ship was 12 to 14 meters long and was transporting hundreds of vessels. Some were visible above the ocean floor, but the muddy bottom concealed a second layer of amphorae. It seems that wooden beams of the ship are also buried within the mud, Sharvit said. Over 2 days, the 2 Canaan vessels, each from a different end of the ship, were extracted. This was done to minimize disturbances to the exact assemblage of the boat and its cargo. Sharvit noted that the international commerce significantly increased during the late Bronze Age, with technological qualities of ships greatly improved. This allowed large volumes of goods to be transported and raised to the status of port cities such as Canaanite, Byblos, and other Phoenician sites. However, the academic assumption until now is that trade in that time was executed by safely flitting from port to port, hugging the coastline within eye contact. The discovery of this boat now changes our entire understanding of ancient mariner abilities. It is the very first to be found of such a great distance with no line of sight to any landmass. It is presumed that the seafarers navigated using the celestial bodies by taking sightings or angles of the sun and star positions. There's also the possibility that this is the only ship that ever tried that and it sank. There's always that possibility, right? Just because they were seafaring out of sight of the land, it doesn't mean they were doing it successfully. Obviously, they weren't because they sank. Anyway, it is quite possible that answers to these questions will be forthcoming from further research on the boat, and they may remain unsolved until extensive excavation is executed on the ship. Using advanced technology, the vessels extracted from the seafloor will be on display during pre-opening tours of the Jay and Jeannie Schottenstein Schottenstein National Campus for Archaeology of Israel in Jerusalem. There is your story on a real oldest ship found underwater. And back to you.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Back to European politics, because of course we had the elections in the beginning of the month, and now I was discussing whether or not what kind of coalitions will be made in the EU Parliament, seeing as the conservative Democrats are still, or the conservative Christian Democrats are still the biggest amount of seats in the parliament. And according to Polish MEP Anna Brilka from the right-wing Konfederacja, they say unlikely that AfD and other parties will form a new right-wing group, since they're not invited to the current far-right group ID. Konfederacja, which was founded before the 2019 European... Oh, sorry, this is from Joe Hyde on Eurocitiv. Confederation, which was founded before the 2019 European elections but did not win any EU seats then, was the third strongest force in Poland in the last European election, winning 6 seats in the European Parliament. As a result, the party has become a source of speculation about future factions on the right of the EU Parliament following the elections, fueled by AfD's exclusion from the Identity and Democracy ID group and the recent news that Hungary's Fidesz will not join the European Conservatives and Reformists (ECR). The AfD's original plan after the election was to pave the way for it to rejoining the ID by excluding its top candidate Maximilia Krah from its ranks. Now the party is considering forming its own parliamentary group instead, several party sources told Eurocitiv. However, newly elected MEP Anna Brilka of the Polish Confederation Party doubts that a new AfD-led group will be formed, even if there are plans. The will to establish such a group. Asked by Eurocitiv about possible partnerships for her party, Brilka said that talks with several parties were underway, but she declined to give details until something was finalized. We will only send 6 MEPs to Parliament, so we are not big players. Nevertheless, we are talking to many groups and we will see what happens, she said. In any case, Brilka does not expect a result before July 3rd. ECR or ID. As for the current political groups in the European Parliament, the Confederation has the most in common with the ECR and the ID, says Brilka, indicating that her party is considered joining one of these groups. Much will depend on how those two groups vote on the reappointment of Ursula von der Leyen, but there will probably be no consensus on the matter in the ECR, she said. She made it clear that the Confederation against von der Leyen as a candidate for the Commission presidency. Only someone who has lost touch with reality can believe that we could ever consider cooperation with this German politician, said the Confederation co-chair and deputy speaker of the Polish Parliament, Krzysztof Bosak, at a press conference ahead of the European elections. He called von der Leyen a symbol of exactly what we want to end, unfounded rules that run counter to the interest of citizens, that undermine the European economy, that destroy Polish agriculture. Before the European elections, experts contacted by Eurocitiv doubted that the Confederation would succeed in joining either the ECR or the ID. The ID faction seems to be pro-social on the Confederation, with a largely market-based profile, said Przemysław Witowski, a researcher at a political extremism of Collegium Civitas University in Warsaw. An alliance with the conservative ECR group is also unlikely, said Caroline Borowska-Kierynecka, professor of political science at the University of Wrocław. She justified this with different positions on Russia. When asked by Eurocitiv about the possibility of the Polish conservatives, PIS, who are in ECR, changing their affiliation in the EU Parliament, Brilka stressed that she did not expect the party to leave the ECR group. Since the Confederation is at odds with the PIS, it is considered unlikely that the Confederation will join the ECR, and in which the PIS has the second largest delegation. So it looks like they might be joining the ID, or maybe they'll join some new party. like they said, we'll have to wait until July 3 to really see what decisions are being made in the back rooms at the EU Parliament. But does it look like anyone wants to be led by the AfD, who are vehemently supporting Nazism? Whether or not they are Nazis, who knows? But there's people out there who are using Nazi words, saying Nazi things, and why would Poland want to be in a group with them when they are the first people who got conquered by the Nazis back in World War II? This is not. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't know what Poland's plans really are, realistically, because
A lot of confused people.
yeah, because you've got far right people are all gonna end up being fascist Nazis. That's just what the political spectrum is.
Mhm.
So I don't know why they
Yep.
think it'll work for them somehow, when historically Poland has constantly been treated like shit by everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
They've
Maybe
been
they're just-
partitioned
that's
many
their reaction.
times by other countries many times.
Maybe that's just their reaction, their knee-jerk
Yep.
reaction to that.
They're just like, maybe we
become-
should be the fascists this time, and then we won't
we'll
get
be hard
bullied.
right. That's right.
Well, that's the story.
You know what? I sent you a clip, by the way.
Ah, yes.
My Sharpies together. This show is brought to you by Sharpies. This show is brought to you by permanent markers. Permanent markers, you cannot throw them away. They are permanent. All right, and before we go into the Willie Mays story, which was the game played yesterday and more of the crowd reaction, Donald Sutherland has passed away, the towering actor. This is from Jake Coyle of AP News. A little short one. We're not going to do the whole story. I didn't have time. We don't have time. The towering actor whose career spanned MASH to Hunger Games dies at the age of 88. Donald Sutherland, the Canadian actor whose wry, arrestingly off-kilter screen presence spanned more than half a century, has died at the age of 88. Sutherland died Thursday in Miami of a prolonged illness, according to a statement from Creative Artists Agency, which represented him. Kiefer Sutherland, his son, said on social media he believed his father was one of the most important actors in the history of film. Well, let's not get carried away, Kiefer. Never daunted by a role, good, bad, or ugly. He loved what he did, and he did what he loved, and no one can ask for more than that. Yeah, well, he was great. Actor, a tall and gaunt Sutherland who flashed a grin that could be seen or could be sweet or diabolical, was known for his offbeat characters like Hawkeye Pierce and Robert Altman's MASH, the hippie tank commander in Kelly's Heroes, or the stone professor in Animal House. Donald was a giant not only physically but as a talent, Sutherland's MASH co-star Elliot Gould said in a statement to the Associated Press. As many paid tribute, he was also enormously kind and generous. So, rest in peace, Donald Sutherland. And we're going to get on to the Willie Mays story. They played the game last night in Birmingham, but this story is a couple days old. Willie Mays, this is from Times, again, the pay window, but I was able to navigate behind it. Willie Mays, Birmingham and Rickwood Field. Baseball honors a legend in his hometown. It's from Tim Arango and Brian Holland, New York Times. In the late innings of the minor league game on Tuesday night at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, fans throughout the grandstand suddenly and almost in unison began staring at the news on their phones. The great Willie Mays had died at 93 in California. An inning later, a tribute video played on the scoreboard overlooking the outfield where Mays played his first professional game as a teenage phenom for the Birmingham Black Barons, and the loudspeaker blared "Say Hey," the Willie Mays song, recorded in 1954 by the R&B group The Treniers. I was shocked, said Randy Ferguson, in 70, a member of the Friends of Rickwood, the nonprofit organization that oversees the ancient ballpark. When he was standing outside a small museum underneath the stands where the next day fans would line up to see Mays' flower-draped Hall of Fame plaque. The first time it has left the wall in Cooperstown since it was installed at his induction in 1979. I have chill bumps. I can't think of any place to be than here. At 114 years old, Rickwood Field is the nation's oldest professional ballpark. The first place Mays played pro ball and the last ballpark still standing that he called home. To honor the legacy of the Negro Leagues, Major League Baseball scheduled a game in Mays' hometown between the San Francisco Giants, Mays' old team, and the St. Louis Cardinals that was played last night. This article is written before the game. The Reverend William H. Gleason, 99, was the first black pitcher to the Cardinals in the 1950s. He has been a pastor in Birmingham for more than half a century since retiring from baseball. He had been hoping to see his old friend this week at the ballpark where they played together. In 1948, Gleason was a star pitcher from the Black Barons, baffling hitters with 3 types of curveballs, and Mays was a teenage star for the local high school who had dazzled all the sandlots playing for industrial league teams, fielded by steel mills and local coal mines. Gleason became a mentor to the young Mays, and they won a league championship together and played in the last Negro World Series. We were good friends, and both of us just starting. It was easy for us to get along, Gleason said. Gleason, not Gleason. And Major League Baseball's tagline for the week, plastered on signs around the city, is a tribute to the Negro Leagues, but it has been as much a celebration of Mays' singular life and legacy, now amplified with his death. The Birmingham Civil Rights Institute this week unveiled an art installation of towering Willie Mays baseball card, and on Monday evening, the marquee of the Carver Theater, once one of the few places black people could see first-run movies during the time of Jim Crow, was lit up with Mays' name for a screening of the 2022 documentary Say Hey, Willie May. After the screening, Mays' son Michael told the audience that his father could not make it to Birmingham. He wants to be here bad, he said, adding, I think deep down what it is, he didn't show up halfway. Mays issued a statement Monday evening to the San Francisco Chronicle saying he was too unwell to travel and reminiscing about Rickwood Field, describing it as like a church. The first thing I ever put in my mind was to play at Rickwood Field, he said. It wasn't a dream, it was something I was going to do. Rickwood Field, the project of A.H. Rick Woodward, a local iron baron who was manager of the company's baseball team, opened in 1910. It was named for him. The winning entry chosen from the contest sponsored by the Birmingham News. At the time, it was a modern marvel, a minor league ballpark modeled on the concrete and steel major league palaces of the era, like Philadelphia's Shive Park and Pittsburgh's Forbes Field. One Birmingham newspaper called it the South's finest baseball plant, while another described it as the model of beauty and convenience, where the patrons will be seated in opera chairs, large and comfortable. Wow. And its opening day on August 18, 1910, was a citywide holiday with offices and shops shuttered for the occasion. Not a crowd, not a throng, not a seething mass of humanity, the Birmingham News declared on its front page. None of these terms will do as to describe the great waving, chattering, elbowing, laughing, striding, stumbling, and pushing bundles of sweltering folks who swarmed into Rickwood Park Thursday afternoon. By the end of the decade, black teams were allowed to play at Rickwood, paving the way for Mays' future stardom. And black teams for Birmingham and Montgomery played a doubleheader in September 1919 in front of the largest crowd that ever wedged itself in the enclosure at Rickwood, the Birmingham Age-Herald reported. The area and the town was, despite all the history that we know in these black communities, it was a joy. Despite the racism, the Birmingham Black Barons were the toast of the town, Michael Mays said this week. The week of baseball in Birmingham, he said, is an American celebration, and his hope is that it will bring more black fans and more black players into the game that has been seen a steady decline in African-American representation. It's a full circle moment, he said. It's a full circle moment for Major League Baseball. It's a full circle moment for Birmingham. It is a full circle moment for all of our family. So there you are, the background for the historic game that was played last night in honor of the Negro Leagues. Turned out to be a tribute to Willie Mays.
Yeah. Crazy that we just talked about that like 2 weeks ago.
2 days ago.
No, we talked about, had a story about the Negro Leagues.
Yeah,
like 2 weeks
ago. About the
ago.
Negro Leagues, yeah. Right. Yeah, because they incorporated their records
Yeah, finally actually said, hey, wait, they played the game too. What do you know?
Back to you.
Well, rest in peace,
And,
Sutherland and Mays. And on to my culture segment, which is about the UK government and a Belfast rapper group called Kneecap. This is on Euronews Culture by David Morquand, of course. The West Belfast trio said they are challenging the UK government's decision to revoke their Arts Council funding application. They claim that denying the grant discriminates against them on the ground of nationality and political opinion. West Belfast rappers Kneecap have been granted permission by Northern Ireland's High Court to challenge a decision by the British government to block funding for a music promotion scheme. The Irish language artists were awarded a £15,000 grant under the Music Export Growth Scheme, MEGS, which was subsequently withdrawn by the UK Business and Trade Secretary Kemi Badenoch. Badenoch had announced £1.6 million in funding in February to boost 67 artists from across the UK and support homegrown musical talent. Kneecap stated that despite their application being approved by the selection board, it was subsequently blocked by the British government. They claim that denying the grant discriminates against them on the grounds of nationality and political opinion. In February, they released a statement on Twitter claiming they were being silenced by the UK government. A spokesperson for Badenoch said at the time the government did not want to fund people that oppose the United Kingdom itself. Legal proceedings against the unlawful decision were started, with Darga Makin of Phoenix Law representing Kneecap, saying that the decision represented an attack on identity, freedom of expression, and the fundamentals of the Good Friday Agreement. We've been granted permission to challenge the Secretary of State's decision, the band posted on Instagram. This means that we have cleared the first legal hurdle, and the judge has ruled that the case is arguable with a reasonable prospect of success. The Secretary of State must now file evidence justifying their position. A date for High Court has been set for the 14th of November. But who are Kneecap? Kneecap are two MCs, Moglai Bop and Mochada, along with DJ Provai. They quickly became an underground hit, earning praise from fellow rappers with the Irish hip-hop scene. Fond of merging Gaelic with English, balaclava-wearing satire with socially conscious lyrics, and plenty of drug and sex references to go around, the band have been active since 2017. They had been labeled controversial because of their outspoken lyrics, use of troubles, the troubles with a T, capital T, related imagery, and provocative merchandise. Most of all, they take rap back to its roots as being a music genre to voice opposition and challenge the establishment. These guys are against our government. Oh, because they oppose your ideas? Yeah, they're traitors to the UK. Okay. But you know, the UK's never been the most freedom-loving government in history. The group previously claimed that their 2019 Farewell to the Union tour poster had pissed off the Tories, explaining once again, the British government is trying to silence the voices from the West Belfast. Once again, it will fail. The band exploded onto the worldwide musical scene this year, especially with the release of their second album, Fine Art. Coinciding with the release of Fine Art, Kneecap placed stickers around the British Museum in London, claiming some of the exhibits there are stolen from Ireland. Isn't everyone? The place would be empty, only for theft of everything they've discovered. To cement their cultural dominance in 2024 is an upcoming biographical film about the band, which is due to hit theaters on August 2nd. It premiered to wide acclaim at the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year. So watch out, somebody disagrees with how you're running your government, hence they're against the UK and they don't deserve the grant that you rightfully gave them because they passed all of the requirements. Really great, really cool, totally not suspicious that you're trying to silence these people from Belfast, basically.
Because the whole thing with Northern Ireland getting kind of old anyway. Yo, we gotta have a little section of land here. Okay.
These guys like us.
The whole entire world, right? It's like Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, right? A little section of land that belongs to the United States, you know. A little section of land that belongs to the UK. Right? You must not be politically abrasive to our setup here. It's always been like lifetimes of it, over 100 years of this nonsense. Of course, the nonsense before that too, right? The total rule of the British Isles by London at the time, up until like 100 years ago, 115 years ago. Anyway, this day in history, if we're into that, 1813, the Battle of Vittoria was fought during the Peninsular War, breaking Napoleon's power in Spain. In 1834, Cyrus McCormick received the patent for his 1831 invention of the Reaper. Oh, that's where the song comes from. Don't fear the Reaper. That's what it's about. It's about that thing they were using to harvest crops, not the Grim Reaper. 1870, the Tianjin Massacre, a violent outbreak of Chinese xenophobic sentiment towards Westerners, erupted in 1870. Massacre. Wow. Not a lot of details. 1893, the first Ferris wheel, invented by George Washington and Gale Ferris Jr., a Pittsburgh-based engineer, made its debut at the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. The World's Fair, I think they ended up calling it. In 1905, Jean-Paul Sartre, a French novelist, playwright, and exponent of existentialism, was awarded but declined the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1964, was born. He was born in 1905. He wasn't born in 1964. In 1919, Italian-American architect Paolo Soleri, who is one of the best-known utopian city planners of the 20th century, was born in Turin, Italy. 1963, on this date, 61 years ago, Pope Paul VI was elected Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. This day, 1982, John Hinckley was ruled to be innocent by reason of insanity in the shooting of U.S. President Ronald Reagan. John Hinckley Jr. thought he was Travis Bickle from The Taxi Driver. Talking to me. He was that guy. In his head,
Yeah.
he was that guy. And he shot Reagan. 1982, the same day, Reagan's attempted assassin was found not guilty for being crazy. Prince William of Wales was born to Prince Charles and Princess Diana, and became the heir to the British throne, which someday he'll be, I suppose, King William. In 1997, the Women's National Basketball Association, the WNBA, debuted with the playing of the league's first game. The New York Liberty defeated the Los Angeles Sparks. That was on this day 27 years ago now. 2009, Greenland became self-governing as an expanded home rule agreement with Denmark took effect. So they've been home ruled since 2009. Greenland's been its own country. A lot of people don't realize that, including me. 1945, our featured event, Japanese forces defeated on Okinawa. Japanese resistance on Okinawa was finally crushed on this day, 1945, less than 3 months after U.S. troops landed there, in the last stepping stone before the planned assault on Japan's main islands in World War II. Our feature biography, Benazir Bhutto, Prime Minister of Pakistan, who was born June 21st, 1953 in Karachi, Pakistan, died December 27th, 2007. I believe she was assassinated in Rawalpindi, Pakistan. She was assassinated. And we have other famous birthdays. Michael Platini, French football player and administrator, born in 1955. Yingluck Shinawatra, Prime Minister of Thailand, born in 1961. Edward Snowden, American intelligence contractor, born in 1983. Those are your birthdays for today. And And there's National Day Candle. There's a lot of things because it's Friday, so they like to squeeze them into Friday. It's National Peaches and Cream Day. National Selfie Day. Haha. National Go Skateboarding Day. National Daylight Appreciation Day. So it's our longest day of the year, technically. The most daylight we can get. So the longest National Daylight Appreciation Day. National Day of the Gong. National Take Your Dog to Work Day. National Wagyu Day, which is it's like raw steak, right?
Wagyu is Japanese beef where they really, really treat the cow so well, like a pampered little princess, that its fat content is like 90%. It melts in your mouth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It looks uncooked in this picture, too.
Well, that's because you can't see the marble,
it's also,
right, if it's cooked.
I suppose. And I'm hungry now. National Smoothie Day. I'm sure that's very expensive, right?
Oh, yeah. Wagyu
smoothie,
beef
but the
is
Wagyu.
very expensive.
Yeah. And it's National Arizona Day. I wonder if the cows know that they're that expensive when they're being raised. So it's all those days. And it's also June 21st, 2024 on, those are your stories for June 21st, 2024 on Before Wagyu.
Delicious. Okay, this has been Allison here from the Netherlands. We will be seeing you on Mucking Fun Day for whatever has happened over the weekend. Please have a safe and happy weekend. Stay safe. Don't get killed by a heat wave. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when we go live. I wasn't able to use the clip you sent me, but I found, I think, the same scene you're talking about on a different clip. For some reason, the clip you sent me is like region locked, so I'm not allowed to watch it.
Okay.
So we have a different one, but it's the same scene. Here is your mic drop moment.
We cheered it.
She earned it.
Yeah.
You shot an arrow at your head.
Well, at an apple.
Near your head. Sit down.
This is the character most people would remember Donald Sutherland as.
Yeah.
Perhaps
we have a winner.
younger people.
I think it's one of his best lines
I mean,
in the whole series.
why do we have a winner? I mean, if we just wanted to intimidate the districts, why not round up 24 of them at random and execute them all at once? Be a lot faster. Hope.
Hope.
Hope. It is the only thing stronger than fear. A little hope is effective. A lot of hope is dangerous. A spark is fine, as long as it's contained.
So,
Nice beard.
contain it.
Yeah, really good makeup department.
Beard like beard like that's gonna take hours.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.